Well, welcome back to another Tech Tip Tuesday, and today we're going to be going over exhaust placement. Today, unfortunately, all we got in the shop right now is going to be turbo cars, so this is going to be more oriented on exhaust placement for turbo cars. So, just give you a few tips on why you would place your exhaust in certain ways, why you'd run a certain bullhorn, and different things like that. So we're going to jump right into it. We have this Fox body right over here that we're doing charge pipes and exhaust on right now. That's actually what I'm about to get started on, is the exhaust. So I'll show y'all and tell y'all what I'm doing on this car. So this is your typical Mustang no prep car. So on these no prep cars, they're not really looking for a whole lot of downforce on the front of the cars or anything like that. You just want something simple and easy on this car. So we're just going to be doing a straight 90 out of here. It's going to come up and come right out of the fender somewhere right in here. Obviously, that's going to give it a little bit of downforce, not nothing crazy, but it would just be simple, easy, clean. It won't have a bullhorn or anything. It's just going to come straight out. So it blows all the fumes out this way, and like I said, it's not really giving a whole lot of downforce. It's just exiting the exhaust outwards. One thing, if you're not going to run a bullhorn, something that I would suggest to you is to just think about it before you do it, because a lot of people, you always see they'll just have their exhaust ran out straight here or straight down here, or wherever they decide to do it. That's not a big deal at all, especially if you have a dual exhaust car. But one thing I would take into consideration is a track that is a little bit narrower. And I've had customers tell me this before, especially here at our local track. A narrower track, you are going to be closer to this wall. And they have physically felt the car after we've done just a straight exhaust actually push them around a little bit because of all the force of the air coming out and pushing up against the wall. So that's just something to think about. Now, one of the bigger reasons why you'd run bullhorns is so you can control downforce on the front of the car. Especially on a blower car and a turbo car, there's a lot more downforce that comes out of those bullhorns than you would think there would be. I know I've heard of people talking about them putting a car on a set of scales and then hitting the two-step on it and seeing the weight gain from the bullhorns on the two-step, and it'd be a couple 100 pounds of force extra that it's putting on the front end. So that would be the purpose of running a big bullhorn. Now, there's different variations of a bullhorn that you can run. Some people like to just run a nice 45 bullhorn, which that would be this pipe obviously cut in half. And then whenever you come out here, it'd be stuck out here and it'd be cut right here. So it's pushing the exhaust this way, and so it's still giving you a little bit of downforce, but it's not blowing it straight up. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the full 90 bullhorn. I understand why some people do it, just because the amount of straight down force that it's giving you. Another tip is I always like to do a V-band right here in the straight section so it can swivel like this, because you can actually manipulate the suspension a little bit by turning this bullhorn. If you got a track that or if you're at a track and your car's getting really wheelie prone, the further straight up and down you point this more downforce, it's going to put directly on the front of the car. And then so you're on a less marginal track, you can actually physically take and move this back, and it's just going to help push air that way. Obviously, it's still giving it a little bit of downforce, but nowhere near the amount if you're going straight up and down. Just kind of a small little tech tip on the bullhorn and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of just running a straight out pipe here, just because I have had customers talk about it pushing the car around a little bit and stuff like that, especially if you're just running a single and you only have that one side exit exhaust somewhere right here. With it just coming straight out, they say it pushes the car around a lot. So that's kind of a little tips and tricks right there on the bullhorns. We actually have another car over here. This is going to be more of a radial car. Don't look like a radial car right now because I ain't got a motor in it, but this is going to be a twin turbo LS radial car, and we will be running dual bullhorns on this car. The exhaust will come down up underneath the frame rail right in front of the wheel, and then we'll do a big bullhorn on it, not the full 90, but just give it a nice little, probably a little bit more than a 45. That way, like I said, it helps push this front end down. Now, one of the biggest components to doing your exhaust is just working with the room that you have. Obviously on this, with the motor in it, you can see right here, this is actually where the motor plate is, so that's where the front of your motor is. So I have plenty of room in between this motor in these turbos, because on these catfish cars there's a lot of room in the front end. Now, as you can see over here on the Mustang, with what they've got going on, it would be pretty daggum hard. It wouldn't be hard, but it would take some pie cuts and a lot more time to take and run this down and around through here, and then back down through and over up to the Bullhorn, to where now we're just going to do a 90 out and then straight up through here. So that's one thing that's going to determine your exhaust the most, is just turbo placement and stuff like that, which we talked about turbo placement in our last TechTip videos. But yeah, that's going to be a wrap on today's video. If you have any ideas or suggestions on tech tips that y'all would like to see, just leave a comment down below. I think we kind of got one for next week. I think we want to talk about the weld joints on cages and stuff like that. So if you'd like to see that, leave a comment. But we'll catch you on next week's video.